Hey, 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 ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Rain just cleared up, so we back on the bike. You feel me, man? It feels so good, man. It's been raining all week, man. It feels so good to get back on. Been raining all week, man. It feels so good. Today's topic of discussion is I'm going to be listing pros and cons. I'm a newer rider still, but in today's video I'm going to be listing pros and cons, everything that I've gathered so far in my experience of riding motorcycles. Okay, without further ado, I do got my talking points as well. We go ride around, cruise, and I'm gonna talk about them, you know. And number one, we're gonna start with the pros and cons. I mean, people normally people start with, they be like, give me the bad stuff, but I'm gonna start with the good stuff. Pros, right? The first pro I got for you, okay? It's a pretty simple one, right? It's fueling. Fueling is inexpensive, okay? I think it's worth mentioning, you know, whether how big or small, no matter how big or small they be, I think a lot of these are worth mentioning, and fueling is one of those I think is worth mentioning. Especially, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys own automobiles, man. Depending on gas prices, man, you could be paying a lot, you know, a week to fuel up. For motorcycles, man, whatever you're paying, cut that. It's a fourth of that, essentially. Now, depending on whatever bike you have, right? It's gonna depend on what bike you got, obviously. Like, if you got it, man, if you rocking Ducati's H2s, buddy, you know, I'm sorry, you know, it's probably, you know, you probably gonna be paying pretty much similar prices. No, you definitely gonna be paying less, but you know, for the beginners / intermediate range of bikes, fueling is inexpensive, bro. Like, the most I've ever paid, I'm on my Yamaha R3. The most I ever paid for a fill up, the tank ain't but what, 2.7 gallons. It's about $10 to fill my tank up completely, right? So fueling is a good, I think a good reason for a lot of people to switch over as well, man. Some people switch over just for that, you know, by the way. But fueling, good alternative. The second pro I have for you guys is and this is less of a materialistic one and more so of a, you know, feeling one, you feel me? And that's just the exhilarating, free feeling you have when you ride a bike. Now, my folks who ride know what I'm talking about, and it's the reason a lot of people revert back to this, you know what I'm saying? Or a lot of people older in age want to start riding, you know what I'm saying? It's that feeling of youth, that feeling of freedom. It definitely delivers that. There's nothing like riding motorcycles, you know, that I experienced so far in my life. Like, this is such a one-of-a-kind experience, man. I wish if you are willing, you should at least try it once or twice, you know, at least once. But it's such an exhilarating freedom feeling you get, man, when you start, especially when you get comfortable. That's the stage I'm in right now. I'm just getting comfortable, you feel me? And it's just so, once you get past that little stage of yeah, I had to. Once you get past that stage of learning, man, oh, it just feels good. Like I said just now, it just feels good, you feel me? It just feels good to be out riding on these two wheels, man. I can't explain it, you know, it's something you can't explain. Another thing with motorcycles, right? They're relatively smaller vehicles compared to cars and stuff like that. This means smaller parts and stuff like that. So in general, the statement is, the pro is that you're gonna find parts in general maintenance, maybe even a little bit more heavy advanced maintenance, significantly cheaper than you would on an automobile. It's just generally cheaper, pretty much all around the board for a motorcycle. A lot of stuff, I mean, and it's less parts, you know, than the automobile. So not only are you going to be paying less, you're probably not going to have to be replacing a lot of these components as often. And when you do, they're not going to break the bank, you know. That's a big pro I noticed so far, man. It's not going to break it. It's not going to cost the arm and the leg to replace a part. But yeah, in general, expect to pay way less for parts and maintenance. It's like it's so gloomy still, but it feels like a sunny day, you know? I don't know how to explain it. It feels so gloomy, but I guess because I'm on a bike, bro, it feels like a good day, a good sunny day, you know? But the last pro I have, oh, let me focus. I'm not putting my feet down, bro. That's like a thing I try to do. It's like if I know I can ride without putting my feet down for the longest possible, I'm gonna do it, man. I like practicing that. But the final pro I have at this point in time is when it comes to motorcycles, man. I keep referring to the point of their size, but when it comes to commuting through traffic like this, if it's legal to do so, okay, I'm gonna add, you know, you can, your whole, like, your lanes and how you can move about is drastically changes, you know? Like I say, if legal to do so, lane splitting is a thing in some states, so you can fully take advantage of that. I mean, the only thing that can really take advantage of lane splitting is, you know, motorcycles essentially, and smaller vehicles of that nature. So lane splitting, when it comes to moving about, man, you can move just like no other. Like right now, if I wanted to, I guess, creep up here towards that headlight, you know, I could do so. It makes commuting way easier. I can lane split. You can probably take a biking lane past traffic. Like, and this, the benefit is you're gonna benefit majority of the time from traffic conditions, you know. But that is the final pro I have for motorcycles at this time. Of course, there's probably a lot more, but I feel like I got the good bread and butter of them, to be honest. Now it's, you know, it's on to the bad things. Yeah, eventually this time is going to come, but let's talk about some of the cons when it comes to motorcycles. The main thing is probably the most obvious thing is that there's no seatbelts on these things, man. And so unfortunately, accidents, I can't say that word, statistically are going to be way more fatal if you're on one of these than if you're in an automobile. Like, man, you know, it is what it is, but there's no seat belts, there's no airbags. It's just you and your leg power on the bike, you know, which is, you know, depending on the accident, is you know, it's pretty much gonna be helpless. So that's the biggest thing. So guys, it's like so important to be a lot more careful on these things. Watch out for people. They say you got to drive defensively, and that's so true. You have to look out for yourself, man, because these folks, like, look at that. Yeah, like, look at that. You see what I'm talking about? Like, it's stuff like that, you know. It's stuff like that you got to watch out for. It's way more dangerous, so you got to be way more careful. And that's like the biggest thing I noticed when it comes to the motorcycles. Con number 2, you and the bike are exposed to the elements. You and the bikes are always exposed to the elements. Now, you can pretty much, when it comes to storing the bike, you can pretty much eliminate that if you store it in the garage. But let's say, like right now, I'm at the mercy of the weather right now. If it was to rain, snow, hail, whatever, like I'm gonna directly be affected by it. I don't have nothing covering me. I don't have nothing covering me right now. That was a abrupt stop, I'm not gonna lie. But you're at the mercy. If it rains, whatever, snows, if I'm on this bike trying to ride through it, I'm gonna be directly affected by it. The same goes true for the bike. I mean, if you're trying to look out for paint chipping or anything like that, a lot of that can happen. Rust, paint chipping can happen as a result from the same weather types. So you got to be a little bit careful when it comes to that, and kind of choose your days like I have today. I just chose to come out, you know what I'm saying? Keep your bike covered, you know, if it ain't in a garage. For you, make sure you're wearing the proper gear so you don't get like messed up, you feel me? And you should be fine. A lot of this stuff is preventable though, you know, but you are exposed to the elements. You and the bike are exposed to the elements in the weather and your environment. Like whatever's happening in that environment, you're going to be exposed to it. The next point, man, look at that bike. Such a good looking bike right there, man. It don't make no sense, man. Y'all did good here, man. She need a wash, but what a good look. I need to take these front things. I need to take those front ones off, man. I really do. But the next con is, man, these things are a lot easier to steal. Theft, I believe theft is a little bit higher for these as well. I don't know the stats on it, but these things are, if somebody wanted your bike, you know, unless you keep it in the garage, once again, man, if they wanted the bike, no matter what you put on there, if they wanted the bike, they'll be able to get the bike. I mean, these things are pretty lightweight. Like this one right here is lightweight. A lot of them aren't. Once again, beginner to intermediate range, these are, they weigh a lot less, you know. I think this bike's like 300 pounds, so somebody can easily two-man that, man, and get there if they want to. Maybe if I add some weights to it, man, now that I think about it, that'd be a good idea, I think. But, you know, if somebody wanted it, essentially they can have it, because it's just such a small vehicle to maneuver around. Once again, there's no doors on it, all the controls are right there. So I would be sure to use whatever means you can to make it as hard for them as possible, and you know, you just go from there. But that's a good looking bike right there. Why am I pushing off this thing like this, bro? I just pushed off like my little push off go do something, man. But the last and final con I have for you guys this point in time is going to be, it's a small one but worth mentioning, no storage. I mean, if you can't tell already, there's little to no storage on these things. You can probably carry extra passenger. Don't expect to carry a suitcase, you know. Whatever you plan to carry, make sure you can fit it inside of a book bag. Yeah, there's little to no storage. If you want to carry anything, you know, hope it can fit in the book bag, because if not, you're not going to be able to carry it. But I don't think people expect to find motorcycles with storage, so that one's not as big or powerful, right? I don't think people, man, are there motorcycles out there that offer great storage? Yeah, you don't really hear that. But that is the last and final con, though. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to spread knowledge, trying to have it to where all of us become knowledgeable, sharing knowledge. That is the goal. Let me know if I missed anything. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, has been my pleasure. I see you guys in the next video.